We love good discoveries on this channel, but those discoveries come in all kinds of weird and wonderful forms. One week it's a million-year-old skeleton of little foot in South Africa. The next it's Sia Hai, who discovered a multi-chambered tomb belonging to Egyptian Prince Wasserif Re at Saqqara. It sounds random, but it's real. Stuff like this keeps showing up around our world, and every time it does, the story finds its way to us. That's how we end up with videos like this. So forget the worries of the world, and let's look at 15 of the most incredible ancient finds from the lost world. Number 15. Tomb of Prince Wasserib. This month, Zahi Hawass and his team uncovered a multi-chambered tomb at Saqqara in Egypt, which belongs to Prince Wasserib. This guy was the son of Pharaoh Userkaf from Egypt's 5th dynasty. The tomb features a towering pink granite false door carved with the prince's full title, Heir Prince, and an offering table of red granite placed right in front. Another entrance on the eastern side bears the cartouche of Neferurkar, a later pharaoh. The site revealed statues of Pharaoh Djoser, his wife, and their 10 daughters, suggesting the tomb's significance stretched beyond one dynasty. In another chamber, researchers found a black granite statue from the 26th dynasty, pointing to the tomb's reuse nearly 2,000 years after Wasserib's burial. Hawass believes Djoser's sculptures were likely moved here from the area near his iconic step pyramid. This find not only opens new chapters in Egypt's dynastic history, it also connects layers of power, reuse, and ritual that span centuries. Well, ancient Egyptians were truly interesting. Number 14. Roman Horse Cemetery. Just outside a Roman fort in southern Germany, archaeologists recently came across a sprawling graveyard, one holding the remains of not 10 or 20, but over 100 horses. This cavalry burial site, uncovered in Baden-Württemberg, belonged to a Roman unit of around 500 riders stationed here in the 2nd century AD. What makes this find remarkable isn't just the numbers, but how the horses were laid to rest. Most were buried plainly, likely due to disease or age rather than battle. Yet from all the ordinary ones stood out. That horse was buried with care and honored with 2 jugs and an oil lamp, items typically reserved for humans. For Sarah Roth, who led the excavation, it showed something intimate, a genuine bond between soldier and steed. Even after 1,800 years, she said, the grief is still visible. It's not often you find emotion buried in the dirt, but here, in a military outpost's shadow, one horse's burial tells a deeper story than any written scroll could. Number 13. Celtic Necropolis. Before construction began on a business park in Cruzier-le-Neuf, archaeologists from Ian Rap made a stunning discovery beneath the soil, a sprawling Celtic necropolis. Dating to the 4th or 3rd century BCE, the burial ground belonged to a region once shared by the Arverni, Adui, and Bituriges tribes. The site was marked by a wide ditch enclosing over 100 graves. While no skeletons remained, the acidic soil had dissolved the bones. Metal objects buried with the deceased told the story. Dozens of bracelets were recovered, some intricately decorated with traditional Celtic patterns. 18 fibulas, used to clasp garments, were also unearthed, along with 2 sheathed swords. X-ray imaging of one sword revealed ornate engravings of moons, spirals, and circles, symbols rich in tribal and spiritual meaning. Even without bones, the artifacts painted a vivid picture of Iron Age life. What began as a routine pre-construction dig turned into a rare window into ancient funerary practices, tribal craftsmanship, and the symbolic power of metal in death. Number 12. Warrior Tomb discovered. Now this one is a bit scary and sad. In January 2023, motorway construction near Mizil in southeastern Romania came to a halt when workers uncovered a tomb believed to belong to a warrior of high status. Dated to the 5th century around the time of the Huns, the burial is rich with artifacts. More than 100 items were found surrounding the remains, including a decorated scabbard, gold-foiled ornaments, and gemstone-studded jewelry. The warrior was buried alongside his horse, a sign of prestige in nomadic cultures like the Huns. The sword's gold-covered scabbard suggests this wasn't just any soldier. He may have been a prince or a local leader. While no inscriptions were found to confirm his name, everything about the burial speaks to power, wealth, and possibly royalty. Experts believe he may have come from Central Asia, part of the Hun migration that reshaped Europe in the 4th and 5th centuries. Even in death, he left behind a quiet testimony to a time when nomads pushed kingdoms to their limits. Number 11. Denisovan Jawbone. This jawbone pulled from the seafloor near Taiwan has added a rare piece to the Denisovan puzzle. These extinct early humans were only first identified in 2010 from a single finger bone in Siberia's Denisovan cave. Since then, only a few Denisovan fossils have surfaced, making this underwater find a major milestone. Recovered from the Penghu Channel, the jawbone includes 5 intact teeth and likely belonged to a Denisovan male. Dating estimates are broad, placing him anywhere from 10,000 to 70,000 years ago, or as far back as 130,000 to 190,000 years. What's striking is not just the age, but the location. Until now, Denisovans were only known from Siberia and the Tibetan Plateau. This fossil proves they roamed far and wide, surviving in vastly different environments. According to Frito Welker from the University of Copenhagen, we still know very little about why Denisovans vanished, but traces of their DNA live on in many modern populations across East and Southeast Asia. A quiet fossil with a loud message. Number 10. Rare Roman bridgehead fort. Near the ancient Roman city of Carnuntum in Austria, archaeologists have confirmed that a mysterious stone ruin, locally called Odes Schloss, is actually a rare Roman bridgehead fort. This type of military post was placed just beyond a river border, offering control over strategic crossings. In this case, the Danube River marked the frontier. Just 2 miles from Carnuntum's main fortress, this fort likely guarded the Amber Road, a vital trade route linking the Roman Empire to the Baltic regions. Excavations suggest it was originally built during the Marcomannic Wars under Emperor Marcus Aurelius in the late 2nd century AD, then reinforced decades later during Emperor Gallienus's reign. Unearthed items include bricks stamped by legions 14 and 15, pottery fragments, coins, and small bronze artifacts. Archaeologist Eduard Polhammer believes the find highlights how crucial Carnuntum was to Roman military p. Rhythm Europees and 14 receive or dalages stup, bulls teen what fifth century. The fort's remains help fill in a missing chapter of how Rome defended and managed its shifting northern frontier during unstable times. Number 9. Auditorium. In the heart of Agrigento, once the thriving Greek colony of Akragos, archaeologists have uncovered a rare architectural gem within an ancient gymnasium. Known for its athletic facilities, the gymnasium already featured a racetrack and a large pool. Now, a newly unearthed semicircular auditorium adds a striking new dimension. The structure, which could seat up to 200 people, was likely used for public lectures, theatrical performances, and rhetorical training. Adjacent to it, researchers also identified a spacious rectangular room lined with stone benches, possibly a classroom for students and teachers. Dating to the 2nd century BCE, this find marks the first known example of a Greek gymnasium that included a formal auditorium as part of its layout. According to the research team from the Free University of Berlin, it suggests the city's elite were deeply invested in both the physical and intellectual development of their youth. It wasn't just about strength or speed. Agrigento's gymnasium nurtured minds and muscles alike. Number 8. Oldest runestone. In Norway. This runestone from Tyrifjorden Lake is now considered the oldest of its kind ever found in the country. Although the discovery was made back in 2021, it wasn't made public until 2023, once researchers had time to examine the stone and its burial site. The runestone came from a cremation grave containing the charred remains of an adult, likely buried in the early 3rd century. Unlike the more ornate Viking-era stones, this one is simple and rough, with early rune carvings spelling out Edibera, believed to be the name of the woman buried there. It was one of 5 burials in the area, but the only one that included a runestone. Despite its modest appearance, it holds deep cultural significance. The writing style is primitive, but it reflects a crucial moment when written language was just beginning to take root in early Scandinavian communities. For archaeologists, this stone offers a rare glimpse into how identity and memory were marked long before the Viking Age. Number 7. Antarctic frog fossil. The icy wilderness of Antarctica wasn't always a frozen wasteland like today. This frog fossil, discovered on Seymour Island near the Antarctic Peninsula, totally changed how we think about the continent's past climate. Previously, scientists guessed Antarctica iced over around 200 million years ago based on fossil evidence from giant amphibians. But this tiny frog proves that science cannot explain everything. This fossil was only about 40 million years old, and frogs don't do well in sub-zero climates. This specific amphibian is from the Calyptocephalidae family, which today mostly lives in the warmer zones of South America's Andes. That connection alone suggests that Antarctica wasn't just unfrozen, it was likely warm and lush at the time. The discovery narrows down the window when the continent began transitioning into the frozen landscape we know today. It's a quiet little fossil with a loud message. Antarctica once looked a whole lot different, and it probably felt different too. What do you think about this frozen white land? Number 6. Painted Roman sarcophagi. During excavations in 2021 at the Hisardair necropolis in Diznik, Turkey, archaeologists came across 2 richly decorated Roman-era sarcophagi. Inside were 3 sets of mummified remains, an unusual find in this region, especially for burials dated to the 2nd or 3rd century. The tombs are remarkable not just for the preservation, but for their striking design. Their interiors were painted, and the exteriors featured ornamental carvings not commonly seen in Roman provincial graves. Coins discovered near the remains confirmed a connection to the Roman imperial period. But one detail continues to puzzle researchers. There are no inscriptions, no names, no dedications, no identifiers. That's especially odd considering the craftsmanship and resources involved in these burials. Roman elites often marked their tombs clearly, so the absence here suggests either a lost tradition or a deliberate choice. With no names to go by, the individuals buried inside remain anonymous. But everything else about their final resting place tells us they were far from ordinary. Number 5. The Waziri Papyrus. In January 2023, archaeologists working in Saqqara uncovered a rare treasure, a 50-foot-long papyrus scroll dated to over 2,000 years ago. It's now called the Waziri Papyrus, named after Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. This scroll contains passages from the Book of the Dead, a text ancient Egyptians placed in tombs to guide the deceased into the afterlife. What makes this find especially significant is its completeness. Egypt hasn't produced a full papyrus of this kind in more than 100 years. Saqqara has revealed countless wonders over the past decade, but this one stands out for its elegance and scale. The scroll was found in near pristine condition and appears to have been buried with someone of considerable wealth. In ancient Egyptian tradition, the longer and more detailed the version of the Book of the Dead, the higher the social rank of the individual. This papyrus is more than a religious relic, it's a window into the spiritual and cultural identity of a lost world. Number 4. Child buried with 142 dogs. In Egypt's Fayum Oasis necropolis, archaeologists uncovered a burial that defies easy explanation. A young child was laid to rest surrounded by the remains of 142 dogs. The discovery, announced in January 2023, dates back roughly 2,400 years. All the dogs appear to have died at the same time, yet show no signs of injury, suggesting they were poisoned or drowned. Strangely, the child was buried with a linen bag tied over his head. Traces of blue clay were also found among the remains, a material historically used in water reservoirs by ancient Egyptians. This detail opens the possibility of a mass drowning. Whether this was an accidental event or a ritual is unclear. There's nothing else like it in the archaeological record, and researchers remain cautious about assigning meaning. No known texts or burial customs describe a scenario like this. It's a haunting scene, wrapped in silence. The dogs, the child, the bag, the clay, every piece adds to a mystery no one's been able to solve. Number 3. Fat innkeeper worms. In December 2019, after a violent storm hit Drake's Beach in California, biologist Ivan Parr came across something so strange it felt like a prank from YouTubers. The beach was littered with thousands of thick, pink, worm-like creatures. Locals called them penis fish, but their actual name is fat innkeeper worms, aka Euryches colpo. These creatures usually spend their lives burrowed under sand in muddy U-shaped tunnels. But this storm tore up the seabed, scattering them across the shoreline like a bizarre invasion. While rare in the West, they're considered a delicacy in parts of Asia, including South Korea, Japan, and China, where they're often eaten raw with a vinegar-based dip. Parr said this sort of mass stranding has happened before, but never at this scale. The image of a storm revealing a hidden world beneath the sand made headlines and gave us a look at a creature that most people never knew existed until it landed at their feet. Number 2. Double diamond find. In October 2019, miners at the Nurba diamond mine in Siberia uncovered a gemstone unlike anything seen before. What they found was a natural diamond, but inside it, free-floating, was another smaller diamond. The outer shell formed a hollow pocket that allowed the inner one to move freely. Scientists believe the inner diamond formed first, followed by the outer crystal which developed around it while trapping air. It's been called the Matryoshka diamond in reference to the iconic Russian nesting dolls. While neither diamond is especially large on its own, the outer one weighs just 0.62 carats, and the inner only 0.02, their structure makes them scientifically unique. This type of formation had never been documented before, and gemologists are still analyzing how such a rare geological event could occur. Though the stone may not break price records, its rarity gives it unmatched value in the world of mineralogy. It's a quiet, gleaming reminder that even nature has a flair for the unexpected. Isn't it beautiful? Number 1. Mystery skull on Wader Beach. In early 2018, a woman walking along Wader Beach in New Zealand came across something that made her stop cold. A bizarre, decaying figure with a spiny skull and long tail lay tangled in the seaweed. It didn't take long before whispers of sea dragon and mythical creature started spreading. Photos went viral, but no one had answers until experts at Te Papa, New Zealand's National Museum got involved. What she found wasn't a monster, it was the partial remains of a smooth skate, or Dipterus innominatus, a species of deep-sea fish that can grow to 6 feet and live up to 25 years. What made it look so strange and weird was that most of its body had decomposed, leaving only the vertebrae and brain case. These parts, warped by decay, gave it that eerie, almost mythical appearance. It might not have been a dragon, but for a while it had people genuinely wondering if the legends were real after all. What do you think about it? Well, let us know. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and smash that subscribe button for more awesome stories like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.